You know, Governor Dayton, you said on Friday that you would propose to put benefits for same-sex couples in the state contract, and why? And how likely is that to pass in the House and Senate?
Well, I introduced the legislation in the United States Senate to accomplish that at the federal level. So I'm in a consistent position. It's followed the example of most of the major corporations in Minnesota and increasing number around the country who realize that, you know, a matter of equity, that people who are, you know, GLBT have, you know, partners for whom they, and families for whom they want to provide benefits, like, you know, people who are now qualified. So I view it as basic equity and also a way of recruiting and retaining the best possible people. And last year proposed it, and it was finally at the very end of the impasse we had on the final contract. It was, I had to take it out in order to get an agreement, which I regret, and I'll hopefully I'll try again this time and hope for a different result. I just want to say on the voter ID, I just want to repeat, which was what I mentioned in the story, but I said last year and the year before that any change in election law has got to have broad bipartisan support. I stand by that and apply the same, you know, standards and principles to that. Now with the DFL legislature as did with the Republican legislature, and I think there are some openings. Senator Kiffmeyer has indicated she has some areas of interest, and so there may be a way that they can put together something that broad majority in both sides can support, and if so, fine. If not, then leave it where it is.
Real quickly, the two DFL leaders, do you agree with the governor on this issue on the contracts with same-sex benefits? Real quickly, Senator Bach.
Well, my understanding is the contracts are not amendable by the legislature; that it's a straight up and down vote at this point. So, I expect we're going to ratify the state employee contracts that have been negotiated. And the governor, I imagine, will start negotiating on I think those contracts expire June 30th, so negotiations will start over the course of the winter and the spring, and we'll see what comes out of those negotiations, and I just assume the legislature will take them up next early in 2014.
Do you agree, Representative Thiessen?
I mean, I agree with our Senator Bach. Yeah, that it won't be part of this. That won't be part of the items that we're going to be the contracts we're voting on this year. But I also applaud Governor Dayton, sorry, for wanting to make that part of the discussion going forward.
Representative Dowd, anything on that? You can say no.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay. Senator Hand, quickly, yes? Do you agree with it, disagree? No comment?
On
the same-sex benefits in the contract.
I'm not sure what the question is. Are you asking me if I agree that we should have those, or at this point, no?
Okay. Other questions?
How about the issue of gay marriage in the Senate, Senator Bach? Is that a policy issue that you want to hold off on, or would you allow it to get out of your chamber this coming session?
Well, there'll certainly be a bill introduced. I think Senator Marty already said that. He's introduced it for a number of years. There's a number of committees that would have to go through, but I think the more pressing thing probably this session is the budget. I do think we still need to have a pretty significant conversation around the state on that subject. I think the conversation during the election was about whether we put it in the Constitution. It wasn't about where the public is at on the issue, and it may well get resolved by the Supreme Court before this term is over.
So your preference would be to hold off?
My priority is to deal with the budget first.